Let's see what lesson it is. Okay? Now, I have not yet even looked at Rabbi ArtScroll, but just, I don't know. Let's just see what he says if you have the English. Anybody have the English? See what good old Rabbi ArtScroll says in his note on the bottom. They do this very interestingly. I don't know which approach he's going to take. He says, the incident of Miriam took place in Chatzeros. See 1135 and 1216. Rashi is of the opinion that the incident of Korach dispute with Moses, which is the subject of chapter 16 below, later on, also took place in Chatzeros. The sin of the spies took place after the dispute of Korah. For they were sent from the wilderness of Paran, where the children encamped after Chatzeros, right? So Rashi asks, why is there made of juxtaposing the paths of the spies and the paths of Miriam when the paths of the spies took place chronologically after the dispute of Korah? That's how the Mizrahi learns it. Oh, so as I said, there are people that say Korah and Miriam took place in Chatzeros, there's no doubt about it, right? And from Chatzeros they went to Midbar Paran. The question is, in Chatzeros, what happened first? Now, you can't go by what's written, because Korach is in chapter 16, and we're in chapter 13. Korach is written after it all anyways. Korach's certainly out of order for whatever reason. Korach's written way later, right? And yet it certainly happened in Chatzeros. Certainly before the spies. Now, was it Korach Miriam spies, or Miriam Korach spies? So if it was Taka Miriam Korach spies, then Rashi's question is taken at face value. If it was Miriam Korach spies, why they pull Korach out, shove it somewhere else, and put the spies and Miriam together? The spies and Miriam were not together. Korach was in between. Then it's a classic question of why did they juxtapose something which were not juxtaposed at all? If you assume that it was Korach Miriam spies, then the fact that Miriam and the spies are next to each other in and of itself is not problematic. Korach may be crazily out of order, but that's not our problem here. Answers the Meforshim why the Torah go out of its way to so connected by stressing the spies were sent from Midbar Paran. Two psukim ago, you know that that's where they ended up. Obviously, that's where the story is taking place. I don't have to stress it again. Stressing it because that's the first thing that happened after Miriam. That's the connection. Got it? The main thing I want you to get out of this is anytime you see a Rashi that says why these are two next to each other, that means they shouldn't be next to each other. Or, in this particular case, it's not that they're next to each other, but the Torah seems to go out of its way to write it in a way to make sure you realize they're connected. And it followed, right? To show that one followed the other. What's talk of the lesson? Lefi Shelach al Iskei Diba. Because Miriam got punished for speaking badly. She spoke against her brother. Spoke Lashon Hara about her brother, Moshe. Rishayim halalu ra'u. These wicked people saw what happened when she spoke Lashon Hara. V'lo lakhu musar, and they did not learn musar. Which means that according to Rashi, what did the spies do wrong? About Eretz Yisrael. And what Lashon Hara do they speak about Eretz Yisrael? That's going to be our problem. We're going to have to keep this in mind when we get to the end of the story. Ramban's not going to learn like this. Ramban, if you remember, he already said, spies told the truth. Moshe said, are they fortified? He said, oh, they're really fortified. He says, who lives here? Amalek and giants. They told the truth. Told the truth. Moshe said, asked a question, tell us what the cities are like. Are they fortified or not? So they said, wow, it's really fortified. Right? And the Ramban's going to learn clearly that their problem only was political commentary. Yeah, it's so fortified that we and God can't capture it. That's not I didn't ask you that question. You just tell if it's fortified, it's very fortified. Who are there? Giants. Thank you very much. What's the food like? Big. Thank you. Goodbye. Right? Right? And and Ramban's going to say clearly, they didn't lie. They answered the questions. They were asked questions. They answered the questions. And their problem is simply going to be they just had lack of faith. It looked weird. It sounded weird. That's correct. But you report back, and Moshe, I will then tell everybody what we're going to do. And instead, you said, by the way, folks, we've decided we're not going. Right? Okay, that was their sin. It's not Lashon Hara. Where's Lashon Hara? So we're going to have to wait and see. Rashi's already telling us the problem is they spoke Lashon Hara about Eretz Yisrael. We're going to have to find it when we read their report. Okay? Got to keep that in mind. Come on, onwards. Shelach l'cha nashim, continues Rashi. This Rashi we did. We'll do it again quickly. Shelach l'cha. Rashi's worried about the word l'cha. L'da'atcha, on your own cognizance, on your own thinking. I'm not commanding you. Interzef, if you want, Shelach, go ahead. Now, once Rashi does that, you have to ask the question, obviously, why would God tell him if you want, you could, like, I wasn't even thinking about it, right? You don't tell them, if you want, you can go to the store. Really, I wasn't thinking about going to the store. Like when your wife says that, you know what she means. If you want, you can make me a cup of coffee. Oh, okay, but I don't want to. That's not smart. You didn't get it. You missed it, right? But
rhetorical question.
Right, exactly. But when God says, if you want, send spies, the bush sitting there, mind his own business, doesn't make sense. And therefore Rashi, but of course Rashi being consistent with the medrash that you learned in CHUMASH tomorrow, because we've seen it already, it all ties into very nicely. The Shema yourself, I'm with the Jewish people came and said in the Shelach and Shimon and all that, we want to send spies. CHUMASH and Emars, it says clearly in the CHUMASH Devarim, if we don't like Luchem, you all gather to me and send spies. We will now assume that Moshe then asked God what to do. Otherwise, God, right? God would come out of the middle nowhere. Moshe and then he asked God what to do, and God's response was, I said it's a good land. No need to send spies. I took you out of the poverty of Egypt to get you to a land of flowing with milk and honey. I'm going to give them the opportunity to make a mistake in the words of the Meraglim. They shouldn't get it because that's a bad idea. So I don't think they should. If you want, you can. That was God's answer. And Rashi and CHUMASH Devarim said, so why did Moshe say it's a good idea when God clearly said it's bad? He used reverse psychology, thought they wouldn't do it. Reverse psychology didn't work. And that's how Rashi ties it up. By the way, you will notice, according to Rashi, why does God think it's really a bad idea? You can if you want, but it's not a good idea. Why is God upset? Why is it not a good idea? What's he upset about? What's bad about the idea?
Lack of emunah.
Lack of emunah that God can conquer the land? Or, no, what was it? I told you it's a good land. So according to Rashi, what seems to have been the Jewish people's concern? Is it good or bad? Which didn't fit some of the words over there before, if you remember. Which means the reports are going to be over what topic? Good or bad. There you have an opportunity for Lashon Hara. Now we got to read what they say, because at first glance they didn't say anything wrong. They said, "This is their food. It's a nice land." Well, I don't think they want Shemar. They just answered factual and brought fruit back. It was not bring fruit back, right? So we'll have to worry about it. But you see, Rashi's already fitting, right? They wanted to know if it was a good or bad land, which is a chutzpah request. God said, "I told them it's a good land. I'm going to give them the opportunity to mess up, and their sin is going to be lashon hara about whether it's a good or bad land. They're going to tell lashon hara about ourselves. It's a bad land, but it's really a good land." So I don't know where it is in the words. But you see Rashi is at least being consistent in what his approach is going to be. We're going to have to find it when we get there.
If God says lemor, how does Moshe have the temerity to use reverse psychology? That's
excellent question. I was wondering that myself. Because you will notice the Orchaim actually didn't do that. The Orchaim said, Adarabah, if we go with that approach, that God is saying it's really not a good idea, but if you want, you can, right? Adarabah, the Orchaim said, and that's why God said lemor, because he wants Moshe to tell the people, you tell them like I say it. God said, I don't think it's a good idea, but if you want, you can. So they hear it, and if they get it, good. If they don't get it, then they're going to have to deal with it, right? And Moshe chooses not to phrase it that way.
He does the opposite.
Right. Moshe says, yeah, sure, go ahead. Good idea. Who cares? That doesn't bother me, man. So he didn't say it over like that. That's a very good question. I don't know. I don't know what Rashi would say on this word. It's a good question. It's a good question. I thought on that as I was preparing. It's a good question. And letting me do need noted on the video, and that was a good question. Asked by the video guy. Gewalt.
It's good to be back.
There you go. Well, certainly better than where you were. Now, so now let's keep on rolling. Vayishlach otam Moshe BaMidbar Paran. So Moshe sent them from Midbar Paran, and as we pointed out, we really didn't have to tell us that because we know where they are. And according to some before him, that's why Rashi sort of felt that we're trying to dig in that connection. That this is the first thing that happened after the Miriam episode. They get to Midbar Paran. What's the first thing to do when they get there? Something dumb like this, lashon hara, which is right after the Miriam episode. Al Pi Hashem. And as we pointed out, what does Al Pi Hashem mean? Rashi has to say on the bottom of page 154 in the Old Hebrew, Pasuk Gimel, Al Pi Hashem, not by the command, which it normally means, because Rashi's learning Shelach Lecha as God giving permission to Moshe if he wants, after Moshe came up with the idea and asked him. And therefore Rashi says Al Pi Hashem, Birshuto, with his permission. Shalom Ikev, he didn't stop it, but it was something out with God's command. As letter Dalet in the Sifsei Chachamim points out, letter Dalet, right there, second line of Sifsei Chachamim, Pirush, V'lo b'gzeirato shel Hashem. It wasn't God's decree. Right? Shezel lo hayah, rak l'tzadam. It was only if they want to. Therefore, Al Pi Hashem can't mean the command, it has to be with his permission. Gewaltig. We continue. Al Pi Hashem, Kulom Anashim, they were all men. Rashi b'nei Israel Hema, heads of the Jewish people. Says Rashi, Kulam Anashim. Says Rashi, Kol Anashim Shem Mikra Lashon Chashivut. The word Anashim in the text always refers to people of importance. Tasha, at that point, Sherim Hayu, they were righteous people. Why is Rashi saying this? Or to quote the famous book by a very good friend of mine, which I highly recommend, Vicky Batchin. What was bothering Rashi? I always want to write a book like that. Right? Rashi doesn't talk unless something's bothering him. What does Rashi tell us here? Why is Rashi speaking up? I mean, it's nice to know that right now they were tzaddikim. Why would I think they weren't? I don't know. But and who cares what they were now? All we care about is what they are when they come back, seemingly. But why is Rashi making the point? What was his problem?
So what happened between the time when they left and they were tzaddikim and they came back and they were talking about something?
No idea. That's a psychological question which is irrelevant to the pshat of the pasuk. Rashi is only giving us pshat in the pasuk. What was bothering Rashi that he should bother to make a comment on this pasuk? He read the pasuk. It looked fine to me. If Rashi would have said anything, he would have kept on reading without a problem.
Why did it need the word Anashim?
What's wrong with the word Anashim?
It's not necessary.
Because
We know that they were princes.
obviously, does that say Anashim? What do you think they were? Were they donkeys? They weren't ladies. What were they? First of all, they were Rashi b'nei Israel Hema. They were the leaders of the Jewish people. The women were not the leaders of the Jewish people. We all know that. We're not getting into why. That's another topic. Let it be duly known in the video that we are avoiding that question. Right? Right? Besides which, just read the names, man. We're going to have the names. Shamua ben Zakur, Shafat ben Chori, Kalev ben Yefuneh, Yigal, Hosea, Balti ben Rafu, Gadiel. Right? They're not lady names. So obviously they're men. So, what? Yeah, but right. So exactly, even if you say, well, maybe the name is right, well, Ben. They're obviously men. So I say Kulam Anashim. Duh, says Rashi. The word Anashim means important. They were chashuvim. So why can't Rashi just leave it at that? Lashon chashivut. What? We know that they're chashivut. We know they're important people. They're Rashi b'nei Israel. So why is he stressing Anashim? To tell these are important people? See if it would be nameless people, right? Al Pi Hashem Kulam Anashim, they were all important people, and their names are da-da-da. Who are these guys? Who's Yigal ben Yosef? And we don't know these people. Low-life, good guys, bad guys, and we don't know who they are. So, they're important people. But I don't need to be told they're important people. They're Roshei B'nai Israel. They're the heads of the tribes. They're the princes. So if they're the princes, they're obviously important. So why are we stressing that they're Anashim? They're obviously Anashim. They're obviously male Anashim. They're obviously important Anashim. So I still don't know why the pasuk is telling me Anashim. Says Rashi, Otasha Aksherim Hayu. At that time, they were kosher. They were okay. Why is that important to know? Because it's going to help us.
After?
What?
Because they weren't after?
Absolutely correct. So why does the Torah want to stress that now they were?
They were the best choice that could be made.
Best choice that could be made, exactly. It's not like, well, of course they messed up. They sent guys that were already messed up in the head anyway. They sent guys that were like, they were princes at risk. They were like, they were, right? Right? It's not, no. They were kosher. They were good people. So A, we sent the best guys. B, we're now going to have to look very carefully. They were the heads of the tribe. So they were politically important. Okay, they could be corrupt. They could be politically corrupt people. No, they were ksherim. So what could have possibly happened? Whether we take Rashi's way that they're going to speak Lashon Hara, or as we all know, and I've told you in advance, Ramban, where they had a crisis of faith, the giants freaked them out. We're going to Rashi wants to make sure you understand we are dealing with people who at the time were kosher, and if you want to learn a message from the story, you can be the prince, you can be kosher, and you can go on this mission to Eretz Israel, and you can come back, and you're messed up out of your brain. And we got to figure out what went wrong.